Hi, my name's Marco. I'm a former opera singer turned voice actor. Today we're going to be looking at the song Grandma from NieR Gestalt. I don't know what the context of this song is, but it elicits so many different feelings and emotions for me. It's haunting, jarring, uncomfortable, poetic, romantic, beautiful, all in one. What I want to do today is listen to this piece and think about the evolution of what came before and where we are now. The chaos language in this particular piece very much sounds like French. And as I was listening to it, I was thinking about the French chanson, a French song. There are several composers of French chanson that really speak to me and have spoken to me through my years of studying music. When I hear grandma, I hear French, and I'm curious to hear if you feel the same way. I think more than anything, this piece identifies and solidifies the idea that things don't need to be huge or bombastic or full of a huge orchestra in order to really hit us where it counts in our spirit and in our soul. It's incredible how, with just a few instruments and a piano accompaniment, we can be elevated to a new dimension. And that was the whole idea behind French chanson, Italian songs, German lieder. The German lieder, French chanson, and Italian songs only focused on piano and voice. In fact, Grandma is actually a little bit more advanced than those pieces were. And yet those pieces also elicited emotional responses from people. So again, I don't have the context for Grandma. I don't know what's going on during this scene. I don't know why this is playing, but it's a ravishing melody. And I want to pay special attention to that chaos language and how it sounds very much like French. So let's dive in. I hear anguish. I hear sadness. When I was listening to that just now, I actually discovered that there was a second voice in there pretty much the entire time. It's like a shadow. That second voice that you hear in the background that is lower than the main soloist, that harmony there is not intended to take away from the primary soloist. And when I hear that, I think of duality. I think of the self, the shadow self. I think of yin and yang. I think of existing with our flaws and the things we don't like about ourselves that are always under the surface. And we live our lives as the first soloist. But underneath, there's always the other part. And us coming to terms with that other part. Yeah, wow. I hadn't heard that until right now. But you hear how it does sound like French, the chaos language, and I don't know why that is in this particular song, that the chaos language has ended up sounding French. And in French chanson, in this time period in history, when the French were composing music, we're talking composers like Fauré, Debussy, Poulenc. These songs were also intending to elicit emotions, intending to elicit states of being. I remember there's a Poulenc song which is all about like je fume. It's all about how I smoke and I sit back and I relax, and it's all like it's all like very non-melodic, and it's just me just sitting back and smoking. And I'm not a smoker, but listening to that, it's like it elicits an emotion. Debussy is known for creating pictures with music. Songs like La Mer, which the whole point is to describe an ocean, and you feel the presence of the ocean. Automne is a powerful song, and from Fauré's third sort of classical period, where he deviated from what he was doing in the first two periods of his compositional life. And in that, he is deviating from he is making new and bolder choices musically. And it's interesting to go from that to this, because theoretically, this is the evolution of song, French chanson, Italian song, and German lieder. I just find this to be incredibly subtle and yet incredibly powerful. Now we add the strings, and we add the snare. Listen to the second voice this time. You see how subtle that is? That song sounds like the ultimate sacrifice. Facing your fear, conquering, knowing what must be done, conquering yourself, conquering your duality, marching forward into the unknown, into fear, despite your resignation, despite your concern for what's to come and your loved ones, you plod forward, knowing what has to be done. And you may not make it back. You may not make it back. You may be forever changed due to the circumstances to come after. Especially when that drum comes in, there's a sense of, I know what must be done. I know what I must do. And then we go. That second voice underneath the main soloist is actually grounding the soloist in a lot of beautiful ways. And there's a warmth there that it allows the soloist to sing freely. And it wouldn't sound as impactful if the second voice wasn't there. The second voice is what grounds and enables the soloist to be free. And these are the kinds of discussions that music of all sorts should enable us to have. If music is an expression of the soul, music is an expression of the human condition. And a lot of classical pieces, especially in the operatic canon, are all intended to make us feel humanity and to remind us that no matter what's going on in our lives, everyone has experienced what you are experiencing. Love, sadness, despair, anger, frustration, fear, worry, anxiety. sadness, depression. I understand that this is part of a game, but this nearly brought me to tears, and I don't even know what's going on in the game to feel that. I have no context. Such a simple 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And yet, if we allow ourselves to tune in to how we feel when we're listening to music, it can be a beautiful feeling of release and a moment of self-expression. So as you're listening to classical music, as you're listening to video game music, allow yourself to step into a world where you close your eyes and imagine whatever situation you want to imagine, but allow yourself to heal. That is the power of NieR's soundtrack. That is the power of every soundtrack, every video game. The intention is to allow the listener to be transported to an emotional place, to a world beyond their wildest imaginations. And it's amazing how a piece that is very simple, whether it's a chanson or the soundtrack to NieR Gestalt, can make us feel and tune into that and allow it to exist, because that's the way that we move forward, by healing. Music is an amazing therapy. As a performer, there were many, many times that I was sad over heartbreak or loss, and being transported to the character I was portraying allowed me some catharsis, allowed me to step back. It's just amazing. That is the power of music. That was not the turn I was expecting to go with this piece. I was expecting this to be a little bit happier, but to realize that the second voice was in there the whole time, grounding the other voice, that shifted things for me, because it made me realize that inside of us, there's always a voice that is grounding us. We just have to listen. Anyway, that's enough preachy stuff for me. Sorry if that was too preachy, but I was really compelled. That was a really beautiful experience, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much, as always, and I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Talk to you later. Bye.